We're going to look at what's the biggest mistake people make when they try to use a job offer to be able to get a raise. You have a job offer and you have a job. Now the deal is, how do we turn this into a win for you, whether you stay or whether you leave? By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to be able to navigate this situation where you build trust, you sustain your career momentum, and you don't burn bridges. My goal is to get you to the best possible outcome that has a win for you and a win for the company you're leaving if you leave, and a win for the company that you're going to if you go, and sustains your long-term career success. So this one's a tricky one because you're in one of two positions. Either the thing landed in your lap and it was a total surprise, in which case absolutely just pop into your boss's office and have a conversation, or get on a call with them and have a conversation, because you're completely innocent and this is just a huge accolade for you. However, if you haven't been happy for a while and you decided that you were going to start interviewing outside, and you got in touch with headhunters and you snuck out of work and did all the interviews, this one's a little bit trickier. So depending on which one you're dealing with, let's deal with the simple one first. So the first scenario is you weren't actively looking and someone approached you and offered you a job. Now, this happens quite rarely because usually people tend to offer you a job over a long period of time, over many conversations. So it's kind of rare that someone would just offer you a job. But sometimes it happens if you're pretty well networked, people know what you do, and you have a unique or particular skill set. So if someone has just offered you a job and they've offered you a job for more money, then you're going into your boss and you're having a conversation that is a problem-solving kind of conversation, because you're bringing the offer into your boss and you are asking them to discuss it with you. There are a couple of very important things that you need to do before you do this. You need to decide whether, if your boss matches the offer that's been made for you, you're going to stay. So, important thing here in terms of building trust with your boss and respecting your boss, you need to have an honest conversation with yourself, and you would need to answer for yourself whether or not you're going to stay. If you're not, you're just letting your boss know that you have this opportunity and you're going to leave. If you want to stay and you honestly think that if your boss matched what you have, that you would stay, then it's worth having a conversation with them. And the conversation looks a lot more like a transparent problem-solving conversation. I got this opportunity. I really want to stay. I love working for you. I want to see whether or not it's possible for our company to be able to match this for me. Now, if there's a massive delta, if we're talking about 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 grand difference, that's a tricky one for a boss to be able to match. If we're talking about anything below 10, it's probably doable. So you want to be able to have a conversation with your boss where you're positioning them to be able to go and ask for this raise for you because they don't want to lose you. So that means a couple of things. It means you've got a history of trust with them. It means that you've already been having conversations with them about your performance. It means that you are both in agreement that your performance is exceptional or above average, well above average. You want to be able to make sure that they trust you, that you didn't go fishing for this offer, that it simply landed on your plate. So again, a kind of collaborative problem-solving conversation here, a realistic response from your boss as to whether or not they think this is something that they might be able to match, and real serious honesty from you to be able to say, yes, if my company matched this and my boss matched this, I would stay. The reason why that's so important is you're not going on a fishing expedition here. You're simply being honest and letting your boss know that you have this other opportunity that's compelling, but it's not compelling enough if they could match it and you wanted to stay. If you are not honest with yourself and you're not honest with your boss in here, your boss can go and pitch for you to get this opportunity and to get extra money, and they can come back triumphant, believing that they've absolutely made it work and that you're going to stay, and then you turn around and you go, oh, no, I think the other offer's better. Way to burn bridges. You really do not want to be doing that. I've had people do that where I've gone to bat for them. I've spoken to HR, I've spoken to my boss, I've gone up to the VP level, I've gotten approval for it. I've come back absolutely triumphant and delighted because I like this person. They were doing a good job, they were performing well, I wanted them to stay with the team. And they then turn around and said, no, I think this is a better opportunity, I want to go and do that. So now I've burnt up a bunch of political capital and I end up looking like an idiot, I don't have tremendously great feelings for them in terms of trust. So whatever you do, make sure that you are not burning bridges in here and that you are being honest with both yourself and your boss. So that's the easy side of the conversation. Now let's look at the harder one. The harder one is you have actually been shopping for another opportunity. The most important question for you in here is, did your boss know or did your boss not know? If your boss knew, it's an easier conversation, because you both then are in agreement that there's something going on in the company or something missing in the company or some trouble going on in the company or some opportunity not presenting itself to you in the company, that it sort of makes sense for you to be going looking for something else. If you've had these conversations over time, then you're coming to your boss with this offer. Again, super important for you to determine whether or not you're willing to stay. I recommend not having these kinds of conversations with your boss if you're not honestly willing to stay, if they can match the offer that's been made to you. If they can, again, you're in a position where you want to be able to also have an opportunity to be able to change whatever it was is not working, and to be part of the group, the team, the project, the committee that actually makes that shift happen, because that's what's going to determine whether or not you're going to stay in the future. You don't want to be cycling in and out of job opportunities where you start interviewing every 6 months because something isn't getting fixed. You either need to be part of making it work and part of getting it fixed, or you want to leave. Most important thing to consider in here is this is not an ultimatum. You do not want to be going, I've been offered this money, I'm going to leave if you don't match it. That's just threatening your boss, and that's absolutely pointless. That is a really effective way to burn bridges. I've had that happen to me too. And those are people who you just wouldn't hire again because they're not being transparent and open and honest with you. The thing to remember in here is very few people have problems having serious, difficult conversations if the person on the other side of the table is being transparent and honest and open and kind and respectful. So when you're going into your boss to have this conversation, you want to make sure that you are not appearing to be making threats. And you also want to make sure that if they are gung-ho to try and keep you and to try and have you stay, that you're willing to stay. If you handle these conversations well, they can actually be to your advantage. Because think about it, you could end up in a situation where you are earning more money and you have more responsibility for fixing some of the issues that you know your company has, and you're part of that team to make that work, or you're leading that team to make that work. So if you have these conversations well, you could end up in a stronger position with more money, with more opportunity, and with more trust with your boss. So if you leave the room having built more trust with your boss, having gotten the money you wanted, and having opened up more opportunities for yourself, this is a tremendous opportunity. The real issue is how well you're able to handle having these conversations. The most important thing you can do for yourself, the biggest favor you can do for yourself in this case, is practice, practice, practice. Make sure that you have role played this conversation with someone who you trust, who you care about. I don't recommend doing it with someone at work. Do it with someone outside of work, and hear yourself speaking the words, hear the tone of your voice, make sure you're being transparent and respectful and kind, and then take some time to reflect as to whether or not, if your boss matched what your offer is, you are willing to stay. If that's not the case, don't open the conversation. If it is, absolutely go for it. Remember, these conversations get a lot easier over time. Approach them with kindness and deep respect, and you'll do just fine. If this feels overwhelming, don't worry. I'm here to support you, and I want you to get much more practiced at doing this. There's another video that's worth watching which has some of these aspects in it, which is how to talk to your boss about getting a raise, and it'll help you prepare for the more difficult conversations you need to have. The game is to get practiced at having them. So go to the other video and have a look at how to ask your boss for a raise. I think it'll help you with this, and I wish you the best of luck.